Hello, lads and lasses. In this video, we're gonna go over how to start conversations with cold leads. Whether you run an agency business, a coaching business, a freelancing business, or any other internet based business where you're communicating with leads over email or messenger or Instagram DMs or LinkedIn messaging, right? This is going to be the ultimate guide to starting conversations with pure cold leads instead of spamming them with spammy like brochure type messages. This is going to be about having real conversations with your leads and prospects and building actual genuine relationships with them. Okay, and if you follow this procedure correctly, like trust me, if you do, this is going to be an ultimate booking. These guys are going to convert into ultimate hot leads and then eventually your clients. This is like, when I say this is like, this is no scripts. We don't use scripts. Scripts are basically dead, in my opinion, and scripts are not useful in a situation when you're trying to build relations with actual genuine people on the other end. So let's get started without wasting any other second. Okay, so how to start conversations with cold leads. Number one, the step one before you start with anything will be to identify the stage of your lead. So what do I mean by this? Any lead of yours, any business lead or prospect, is when you're speaking to them, is usually divided into three segments. Number one is a cold lead, which is right here. Number two is a warm lead. Number three is a hot lead. So what are cold leads? Cold leads are people or organizations who show no interest in your business. They may need you to educate them about your offerings and convince them they need to buy from you. Cold leads are pure strangers. They have no idea what you do. You need to introduce them to your content, either via like YouTube or any content or organic content you produce, okay? Or by just you simply reaching out to them or connecting with them just to inform them about your existence, okay? Number two would be the warm leads. Warm leads are basically people who show interest, who show some interest in your business. However, they still haven't chosen to do business with you. So you'll need to convince them that you're the right choice. Warm leads are, as the name goes, much warmer than cold leads. They are more receptive to your content. They have seen you talk on YouTube a couple of times, okay? They've seen your post, okay? But they're still not ready to buy. They're not convinced to buy from you yet. They still need to go that extra mile to actually make the decision of buying from you. And lastly, are hot leads. Hot leads are qualified leads who need the product or service you offer, are desperately dying to buy it, okay, and are interested and able to buy from you very, very soon, okay? You just need to convince them to just make the next step and make the purchase. You need to send them the invoice or get them on a call and just do the sale, okay? So these are the three stages. So before you start conversation with any lead of yours who's approaching you inbound or you reaching out to them outbound, so if you're reaching out to them outbound, pretty much 90% of the cases it's going to be a cold lead. But people who respond to like your call to actions, like when you ask people that if they need this, if they are interested, and they reply with a yes, that's basically a straight up hot lead. Or like it could be a little bit warm, but it's going to be a hot lead. And warm leads are people when you have had enough cold conversations, you have helped them with their issues, and you have enticed them about your services more. That's when a lead becomes warm, okay? So that's the first stage before you start with any conversation. Now, what are the best practices and things to remember when you're reaching out to customers? Okay, number one is to detach yourself from the result or the call to action in the cold phase, which is basically like making a sale or booking a call with a lead. Focus on making genuine connections, especially with cold leads. So basically in this phase you cannot ask a lead. So once you have done the identification and you have realized this is a pure cold lead who have no idea what you do, okay, and you're just starting making relationships with them, do not ask for a call to action. For example, asking for a sale or getting them on a call, because they're not going to be as receptive as they'll be when they become a hot lead. You haven't helped them, you haven't had genuine conversations, you have no whatsoever relation, and you expect them to hop on a call with you for like 30 minutes to an hour even. That's not gonna work. Even for lesser time, that's not gonna work, okay? You can hop on a discovery call with them, but that's not gonna produce results, right? You can hop on a shorter discovery call, but that's not gonna end in like a sale at the end of the call. Okay, so whether you're making a sale or a call, you cannot ask them that on when they're in the cold stage. Okay, focus on making a genuine connection with these cold leads. Number two is don't look for a script, but look for the right why. Often it does not matter how or what you ask in your messenger, even on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, as long as it's clear for yourself why you're asking certain questions. So what do I mean by this? Do not look at a script. A lot of people are invested into a lot of courses which provide scripts. I use them myself. I used them myself, right? And often you end up getting involved and churned into the script itself without even thinking emotionally about what the prospect is talking to you about, what are the questions you're asking, and why are you asking them. Focus on focus on why are you asking this certain question, and what is the answer you're expecting out of it. Do not just go about like asking random questions you find in a script sequentially like a robot. It's not gonna work. It's gonna be the end of the conversation. Okay. Next is intimacy beats authority in Messenger, especially if you're building your audience from scratch. A very important point. So whichever industry you're in, there's obviously going to be market leaders, right? For example, this could be the freelancing space, this could be the agency space. You know, all the big gurus, right? And if they message a prospect, they're sure to get a reply from them just because of the sheer respect and the way they have built their audience and the trust people have in them. Okay, so they're gonna get a reply, but the only thing that can beat you so when you're in a competition with a market leader, the only thing that can beat them and how you can go about it would be intimacy. Be intimate and be concerned about your prospect instead of just throwing random questions at them. Okay, so intimacy beats authority in Messenger. If you're trying to fight an authority figure in your market, this is the only way around it. Okay, next would be break patterns. Stay away from the easy to expect questions and answers. Make your responses unconventional to increase engagement in your messenger on Facebook, LinkedIn, and as well as like Instagram DMs. Okay, break patterns. Do not ask generic questions where you know what the answer is gonna be like. Because, for example, like how's the business going? That's such a generic question. You know what they're gonna respond, right? So break the patterns. Ask questions about their thinking. For example, like just an example. Oh, Jim, why did you go about X specifically? What made you choose X in your processes? uh, why did you cold call them, or what made you answer them this question? Okay, these are just like random like out of the way, out of the box questions you can ask to break patterns. Okay, so that's basically the things you need to remember. Now, coming to the ideal conversation style and how you speak with these leads is, again, number one would be empathize. Make them feel that you care. Okay, actual and like not about feeling like not. You do not have to fake it. You genuinely need to care about your leads, because if you eventually want to turn them into your client and customer, that's when you're going to care about them again, right? So have a genuine concern about your clients and customers. Another reason why I speak to my leads on like people who are messaging me on like Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, even with my clients on the agency end, I'm very receptive to answering their like not receptive, but like I genuinely like love to answer their questions. Okay, and be open to them with their solution and help them out in any way, because if you provide value first, then you get to ask for value. If you know, I'm not sure if this book is from Gary Vaynerchuk, but he talks about like jab 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 right hook. You need to provide value before you do that right hook and ask for value in return, in terms of a sale or a call, anything. Okay, so how do you empathize? You relate with them and you mirror with them. Okay, another a good way to go about mirroring them is to share a piece of your story if they share something with you. If a prospect is open with you, be open with them. Be emotional and be able to show what you went through, what are the struggles you went through, and how you related to their situation and how you solved it so that they can solve it too. Hope that makes sense, right? Genuinely hope I'm not confusing you guys. So Next would be congratulate them for where they are at. So when you're talking to them, especially in the business space, and they have had a recent achievement, congratulate them. It's a good thing to do. Okay, uh, and only do it if it makes sense. This is very important. Don't just be congratulating them for like an award they won like 3 years ago just because you found it on like a newsletter. Okay, it's not gonna work. It's gonna look shady, and they're gonna know what you're up to. Okay. Second would be inviting. Frame everything benefit driven in your best interest. Okay, do everything in their best interest. And number two, be enthusiastic about helping the other person. This is something which comes from inside. Honestly, it's something you cannot learn. It's very like it is your basic humanitarian instinct to be enthusiastic about helping other people than to be selfish. You need to go against your basic psychological state of being selfish to now helping people and providing value for free. Okay, so now moving on to the goals of the cold phase, the most important aspect, the most important part of this entire video as well. So every stage you should have a different intention. Talking to a cold person with the intention to book a call is not going to work. Just because I basically why I mentioned this above as well before like a couple seconds back, right? So the only three goals you need to look for when you're speaking to a person in cold phase before you can transfer them into the warm phase would be number one. Goal number one is to make a genuine connection and build trust. Number two would be to keep the conversation going and fun. Number three would be to get them to open up and transition into the warm stage. This is the end all be all of the cold phase. This is the only three objectives you need to fulfill with every lead you speak to. Okay, some signs to identify, just to give you an example, would be when, like, an example of cold phase and how do you identify if they are in a cold phase. Very simple example is the first time you talk to them on Messenger. Okay, when you're talking to them on LinkedIn Messenger, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, the first time you speak to them. Okay, now just an example for you guys of what a very cold conversation, like the first generic message you send to a lead looks like is, hey Jim, I saw that we've been friends for a couple of days, but we have actually never talked to each other here on Messenger. I hope you're doing amazing. This this puts a start to a conversation because they're gonna respond to it. They're gonna be, hey man, what's up? And then you can continue the conversation from there. Another route to go about it would be the personalized first line route. So if you feel like you saw them on a podcast last Saturday, mention it to them. I really love what you mentioned about XYZ on the Brainy podcast, and I did this myself like 2 weeks back, and I felt really good. And so I thought I should connect with you. Anything, like, you can frame it out in any way. So that's basically it. This is basically how to start conversations with cold leads. I hope this makes sense to you guys at this point. And now I come to an end of the video. If you have any other questions, please leave it in the comments below or reach out to me personally on Instagram, Facebook, or even LinkedIn. I'm not sure if you want to do it on LinkedIn, right? But if you want to, just reach out to me. I'll be happy, more than happy to answer your questions. And I will see you the next time. Bye bye.